Fables of La Fontaine. Battle between the rats and weasels. The weasel nation, like the cats, are always fighting with the rats. And did the rats not squeeze their way through doors so narrow, I must say, the long-backed creatures would slip in and swallow all their kith and kin. One certain year it did betide, when rats were greatly multiplied, their king, illustrious Ratapon, his army to the field led on. The weasels, too, were soon arrayed, and the old flag again displayed. If fame report it just and true, victory paused between the two, till fallows were enriched and red with blood the rival armies shed. But soon, in every place, misfortune met the ratish race. The rout was so complete, the foe more dreadful grew at every blow. And what avails brave Artapax, Meridarpax, Sycarpax, who, covered both with dust and gore, drove back the weasels thrice and more, till driven slowly from the plain, even their great courage proved in vain. 'Twas fate that ruled that dreadful hour. Then each one ran who had the power. Soldier and captain jostling fled, but all the princes were struck dead. The private, nimble in his feet, unto his hole made snug retreat. The noble, with his lofty plume, found that he had no means room to strike with terror, yes, or whether a mark of honor rose the feather. That led to much calamity, as very soon the nobles see, neither in cranny, hole, or crack was space found for the plumed pack. In the meantime, the populace found access to each lurking place, so that the largest heap of slain from the rat noblemen is taken. A nodding feather in the cap is oftentimes a great mishap. A big and over-gilded coach will sometimes stop up on approach. The smaller people in most cases escaped by unregarded places. Men soon are on great people's traces. Well, there you have it. What's this all about? Well, the rats and the weasels go to war. And although there were a lot of rats, they were not doing well. They were very unlucky. The weasels were winning. Even the heroes of the rats, Artapax, great hero of ratly war, Meridarpax, another one, Sycarpax, even these great rat heroes, and with their great courage, it didn't matter. They were killed too. So the rats had no choice but to retreat and try to find hiding places. Now, the low-level guys, they ran into holes and hid away. But the noble ones, like the officers, they had these great plumed hats, big feather on their hat, to strike fear in the enemy and to show how wonderful they were. So they basically stood out. So these guys couldn't hide. Wherever they tried to hide, their hat was too big, or wherever they went, the enemy could see the hat, and as a result, they just killed all these noble soldiers. these officers, the important ones, while the small ones got away. So what is the point? What is this trying to tell us? Well, there's a concept called the gray man or the gray stone. And what you want to do is you want to be the gray man. If you're black, you're going to stand out. If you're white, you're going to stand out. But if you're gray, you're going to blend in. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want to be too flashy. You don't want to be too loud. You don't want to be too standoutish, if that's a word. Probably not. But this is how you want to survive most of life. You don't want to have too much attention drawn on you. The reality is, if you're great, that's wonderful. But the shadow side of being great, to use a Jungian concept of the shadow, everything has a shadow. Every dark cloud has a silver lining. Well, the opposite is also true. Every shiny object has a shadow side. And if you stand out and you're great, you're going to attract haters. It's good to know this, and you should be happy if you have lots of haters because that means you're great. But in life, like in a workplace or something like that, you don't want too much attention drawn to you. You don't want to be the target of haters in a situation where it could really negatively affect your life. For instance, in a workplace or something like that. Now, this may run contrary to other things I've said, like learn, mastery, be great, achieve, work on your mind, work on your body, stay in shape, stay educated, strive to do your best. This is all wonderful. But know that when you do that, you are going to have haters. Expect these haters and learn to deal with them. If you think everybody's going to admire you like on TV, if you're great, everybody loves you, that's not the real world. People are jealous, people are petty, and people like to tear you down. They like to tear down your shed. They like to tear down your sandcastle. They like to cause you problems. Why? Because they're jealous and they're not as good as you. And this can cause great problems in a workplace or something like that. So you want to be the gray man. You want to fit in with the 80%. You don't want to be in the top 10%. You don't want to be in the bottom 10%. In fact, you may not want to be in the top 25%. You may not want to be in the bottom 25%. You want to blend in and not cause any unwanted attention to you or even wanted attention. This is not the place to get this kind of attention if you're kind of lower down in the hierarchy. In your personal life or whatever, yes, you can be great, you can be proud. You don't want to brag and you don't want to boast. What's the difference between bragging and boasting? Well, boasting is when you can do something and you're really good at things and you mention that. Or if you've done wonderful things, you've seen wonderful things, you've traveled to wonderful places, and you talk about this. This can be considered boasting. And jealous people don't like that if they haven't done something themselves. Bragging, on the other hand, is very different. Bragging is when you say you can do things you can't do, when you claim you've done things that you haven't done. That's bragging. Boasting is basically being proud of what you've done. Now, of course, you can be proud. You should be proud. Proud is good, but you have to remember to be the gray man or the gray woman. And you may just be speaking normal stuff and showing normal levels of pride, but to the haters, they're going to think you're very boastful. Or worse, they're going to think you're bragging. They're going to think you're lying, you haven't really done these things, you can't really do these things, and they're going to try to tear you down. Because when people can't reach your levels, they want to drag you down to their level. If a bunch of people are out drinking every weekend or whatever and acting like fools, yes, they might be having fun, or they think they are. And if you're not doing that, they know they're kind of ruining their lives. So they want you to ruin your life too. If they're getting fat and flabby and out of shape, they want to tear you down and make you fat and flabby and out of shape too. Because they know they're ruining their life, and they also know that in a lot of ways they're in competition with you. So if they can't beat you by being better than you in competition, they're going to try to hobble you, which is basically hitting you in the leg with a stick. Hobble means you kind of cripple. This is kind of like Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Hardy situation. Tanya Hardy and Nancy Kerrigan were figure skaters. Nancy Kerrigan was better. Tanya Hardy couldn't compete, so she paid a man to hit Nancy Kerrigan in the knee with a stick or a lead pipe or something like that. This is pettiness. She couldn't be as good as her competitor, so instead of working harder, she wanted to tear her down. But this happens in the workplace, it happens in school, it happens in a lot of places. Now, the trick is you have to find a balance to excel and be excellent while appearing to be among the gray stone people. So sometimes you want to bite your tongue if you feel like bragging, or if you're proud of your accomplishments. Be proud of your accomplishments among your trusted friends and your family, people who appreciate you. In fact, sometimes you have to be careful of your friends because that might turn some of your friends on you. But if you're humble and you don't do these things, then nobody's going to accuse you of bragging. Nobody's going to accuse you of being overly proud, even if all you're doing is boasting, or just being normally proud of your accomplishments and your abilities. So, like the rats with the big plumed hats, the enemy can see those. The snipers can find those easily, whereas the normal people, they can escape because all eyes are on the ostentatious, flashy, showy, loud other people. So that's basically all I can say. If you have anything you have to add or comment on, down below, please. Till next time. Goodbye. Love you.